The internet exploded the moment the rumors started swirling, rumors that nobody believed at first. Rumors that sounded too wild, too dramatic, too unthinkable. Candace Owens, the queen of controversy herself, was suddenly at the center of a firestorm bigger than anything she had ever created. But this time, it wasn't about a feud. It wasn't about politics. It wasn't about another influencer meltdown. This time, the chaos was coming from inside her own home. Sources closest to her husband claimed everything reached a breaking point behind closed doors after months of rising tension. Whispered arguments, slammed doors, and accusations that Candace finally went too far. And when those sources spoke out, they didn't hold back. One described the situation as the most shocking collapse of a public marriage in years. Another said, "He's done protecting her image. He's telling people exactly what happened." What triggered all this? A decision Candace made publicly, one she insisted was strategic, righteous, necessary. But to her husband, it wasn't strategy. It was humiliation. It was betrayal. It was the moment he realized that Candace wasn't just burning bridges in politics, she was burning bridges at home. And what he allegedly told a close friend shattered the internet. She crossed a line she can't come back from. Those 8 words spread across social media like wildfire. People began analyzing her recent interviews, her tone, her escalating confrontations. Suddenly, everything looked different. Clips resurfaced showing her husband looking tense beside her, uncomfortable, almost like he wanted to disappear whenever she spoke. Viewers pointed out moments where he flinched, where he avoided eye contact, where he forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. And then the whispers started turning into confirmations. A leaked message, a private recording, a close friend speaking anonymously, all hinting at the same truth. Candace didn't just push boundaries, she detonated them. And now her marriage, once presented as polished, perfect, and unshakable, is reportedly hanging by a thread. This isn't just a personal scandal. This is a breakdown with political consequences, public fallout, and emotional explosion. A story about pride, power, betrayal, and the moment a husband finally said, "Enough." Long before the public ever sensed anything was wrong, long before the leaked messages, the whispered complaints, the insiders stepping forward, there were signs. Quiet signs, subtle signs. Signs that Candace Owens and her husband were moving in 2 very different directions. Emotionally, politically, spiritually, and personally. Signs that everyone ignored, including them. Because from the outside, their marriage looked immaculate. They looked harmonious, balanced, unified. He was the calm one. She was the storm. He was the anchor. She was the voice that shook rooms. For years, people believed that opposites not only attracted, they stabilized each other. And in many ways, that was true. Early on, their dynamic worked. Her fire balanced his quiet strength. His patience softened her sharp edges. She trusted him in a way she trusted very few people. He saw parts of her she hid from the cameras. But what the world never understood was that Candace needed that stability so badly, she didn't realize she was slowly wearing it down. It began with small disagreements behind closed doors, moments where he asked her to slow down, to breathe, to think before unleashing a new controversy. He begged her to choose her battles carefully, to protect her peace, to protect their home. But Candace didn't slow down. The more attention she got, the louder she became. The louder she became, the more pressure landed on their marriage. And the more pressure built, the more she leaned on her husband for support he couldn't give forever. Friends say he admired her ambition. He admired her fearlessness. But he was terrified of the speed at which she was moving. Every new feud, every new explosive statement, every new viral confrontation pulled Candace deeper into a high-intensity world he never wanted to live in. And while she insisted that she was fighting for truth, for righteousness, for integrity, he saw something else. A woman who was becoming consumed by the very battles she claimed to be winning. What made things worse was that Candace had always been intensely aware of public perception. She needed control. She needed clarity. She needed to dominate every conversation. But at home, her inability to turn it off slowly chipped away at the harmony they once shared. The first major fracture happened privately months before the world ever suspected anything when she ignored his request not to involve their personal life in her commentary. He had always been firm about one boundary. He didn't want to become a talking point, a weapon, a narrative tool. But in a heated moment, Candace referenced him publicly in a way that blindsided him. People close to the couple say he didn't yell, he didn't slam doors, he didn't threaten to leave. He simply shut down. And for the first time, Candace realized he was hurt, not angry. But instead of slowing down, she doubled down. She insisted the comment was strategic. She brushed off his discomfort as miscommunication. She convinced herself that her career demanded sacrifices, and surely he understood that. He did understand. Too much. Over time, Candace's world began to revolve around battles, enemies, narratives, and power struggles. Every room she entered became a stage. Every disagreement became a war. And her husband, who once grounded her, began feeling like a spectator in his own marriage. He would watch her pace around the house late at night, rehearsing monologues. Watch her ignore meals because she was caught in online arguments. Watch her scroll endlessly, absorbing the latest political firestorm. Watch her turn every minor issue into a life or death crusade. And slowly, painfully, he felt her slipping away from the woman he fell in love with. The woman who laughed freely. The woman who could sit in silence without tension. The woman who didn't need to win every conversation. But the alarms really began ringing during the period when Candace started losing major alliances. Each public fallout made her more defensive at home. Instead of accepting accountability or reflecting privately, she lashed out sometimes at him, sometimes at the world, sometimes at imaginary enemies she believed were conspiring against her. She began refusing advice, refusing caution, refusing any suggestion that she needed to rethink her approach. And her husband, who always tried to guide her gently, slowly began to withdraw. He stopped offering input, stopped making suggestions, stopped attending certain events with her, stopped showing up in public photos. People noticed. Whispers started circulating. Her supporters said he was just private. But insiders knew the truth. He was exhausted. One incident in particular, never reported publicly until now, marked the turning point. A close friend revealed that Candace confronted a major media figure so aggressively that her husband physically stepped between them to stop things from escalating. And afterward, he told her quietly, "You don't know where the line is anymore." That sentence broke something inside both of them. Candace felt attacked, unsupported, betrayed. But her husband felt something far deeper. Fear. Fear that Candace no longer recognized the difference between conviction and destruction. Fear that she was slipping into a pattern she couldn't escape. Fear that he would be dragged down with her if he didn't speak up. But she didn't listen. And then she made the decision, the one that finally shattered him. A statement so controversial, so personal, so unnecessarily cruel, that her husband told friends he felt publicly humiliated. He said it was the first time he saw his wife not as a passionate speaker, but as someone capable of harming everything they built together. According to one insider, he said, "She cares more about winning than about us." And once those words left his mouth, something irreversible shifted. He became distant. She became defensive. He tried to talk. She tried to justify. He tried to explain his hurt. She tried to redirect the blame. Every conversation became a battlefield. Every quiet moment became awkward. Every attempt at reconciliation dissolved into tension. And finally, he said the sentence that would leak and shock the world. She went too far. Not just politically, not just publicly, not just strategically, but in their marriage. The foundation was cracking. The image of unity was collapsing. And the woman, who never loses debates, was losing her home. The moment everything finally broke wasn't during a camera interview, a public event, or a political showdown. It happened in their home behind the kitchen door that once symbolized warmth, partnership, and late-night conversations about dreams and plans for the future. But now that same kitchen had become the epicenter of raised voices, silences that lasted too long, and arguments that felt like someone was slowly peeling apart the foundation of their marriage. According to multiple insiders, the confrontation that changed everything unfolded on a night that seemed ordinary until it wasn't. Candace had just finished filming a segment that stirred massive controversy online. Her commentary was harsher than usual, personal in a way that made even her fans uncomfortable. Her husband, who had begged her not to escalate, watched the clip in disbelief. He waited for her to come home. He waited for her to calm down. He waited for an explanation that would make this feel less catastrophic. But when she walked into the room, fiery and unapologetic, he realized she had crossed into a realm he could no longer follow. A source close to the family revealed that the first 5 minutes of the confrontation were quiet, painfully quiet. Her husband didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He didn't come at her with anger. He simply asked, "Why would you say that?" Candace brushed it off like it was nothing. "It's the truth. People needed to hear it." But he shook his head. "No, that wasn't truth. That was personal. And you know it." She defended herself again, pacing back and forth, explaining how she was protecting values, exposing hypocrisy, standing firm. She used all the lines she'd used in interviews, but none of them worked here. Because he wasn't her audience. He wasn't a co-host. He wasn't a political opponent. He was her husband, and he was hurting. Then came the line that cracked her composure. "You didn't just cross a line out there, you crossed one in here." He pointed toward his chest. "You embarrassed me. You embarrassed us." Candace froze. That word, us, felt like a verdict. She tried to argue that he was being dramatic. She tried to say that he was taking it too personally. She tried to say that her intentions were pure, but he wasn't buying it. "This isn't about the public anymore," he said. "This is about the way you treat people, including me." And then, with a calmness that hit harder than shouting ever could, he added, "You don't talk to me anymore. You talk at me." Those words pierced Candace in a way that no political critic ever could. Because deep down, she knew he wasn't wrong. She had been speaking in statements, not conversations. Speeches, not feelings. Defenses, not vulnerability. But Candace responded the only way she knew how, through control. "I'm under pressure. You know that. You should support me, not criticize me." But the moment she said, "Support me," his entire expression changed. "I've supported you," he said, voice trembling. "I've supported you through every feud, every headline, every meltdown. But I can't support this version of you because I don't recognize her." Candace felt the floor drop beneath her. She hated losing control. She hated being challenged, especially by the one person she always counted on to be her safe place. So she lashed out. "You don't understand what I'm fighting for." But his response? It was the dagger. "No, you don't understand what you're destroying." He turned away, exhaling deeply, like he'd been holding that sentence in for far too long. That's when Candace realized this wasn't a fight. This was a reckoning, a marriage unraveling in real time. But the twist came next, when he said something that stunned even the insiders who later leaked the story. "I talked to someone today." Candace froze. "Who?" she demanded. He hesitated. "A counselor." The room went silent. Candace's eyes widened, not with empathy, but with shock. To her, counseling meant weakness. It meant surrender. It meant acknowledging that something was wrong inside the image she had carefully crafted. But he continued, "I needed to talk to someone because I'm not okay. And I don't think you see that." Candace felt cornered, exposed, vulnerable in a way she hated. And that vulnerability made her defensive. "So you're talking to strangers about our marriage now?" she snapped. But his answer, steady, honest, heartbreaking, shattered her. "I'm talking to them because you don't listen anymore." That sentence hit Candace with the force of a betrayal, even though deep down, she knew he was right. She wasn't listening. She wasn't hearing him. She hadn't been for months. But the real twist, the twist that blew the situation into chaos, came when he revealed what the counselor told him. "She asked me if I felt safe emotionally," he said quietly. "And I didn't know how to answer." Candace's chest tightened. Her voice broke. "What does that mean?" "It means," he said, "that you attack everyone who loves you, including me." At this point, Candace was unraveling. Her voice raised, her breathing sharpened, her hands trembled. She insisted that everything she said publicly was justified, that her battles were righteous, that her critics deserved it, that she was fighting on behalf of truth and strength. He cut her off. "This isn't about them, this is about US." But Candace couldn't separate the two worlds anymore. Her identity was tangled in her image. Her home life had become an extension of her public persona. She couldn't shut off the fire even for the person she loved. He stepped closer, eyes wet, and said with devastating clarity, "You're losing yourself, and you're losing me." Candace looked away. That was her coping mechanism. Avoidance, rejection, deflection. But this time, he didn't let her look away. He said the sentence that shattered the marriage. "I don't know how much longer I can do this." Candace's heart dropped. "What are you saying?" she whispered. And then he said the words that would leak within hours, sending the internet spiraling. "I think we need time apart. A pause, a breath, a fracture." But he wasn't done. "And if things don't change, I'm leaving." Candace's world collapsed in a single moment. The woman who always controlled the narrative could no longer control her own home. And the twist? Someone overheard the entire confrontation. A House staff member. They recorded a portion of the argument, and by morning the audio had leaked. The phrase that trended worldwide came directly from that recording. "She went too far." The leaked audio hit the internet like a nuclear strike. Not a slow burn, not a gradual spread, not the kind of gossip that grows over days. It was instantaneous. The moment the clip surfaced, just 36 seconds of raw, vulnerable, explosive tension, the world stopped scrolling. The recording began mid-argument. Candace's voice sharp, defensive, trembling with furious frustration. But what everyone latched onto was his voice. Calm, measured, breaking. And the way he said it, "She went too far." That single sentence immediately became the top trending sound on social media. Clipped, remixed, analyzed, slowed down, sped up, turned into TikToks, turned into reaction videos, turned into podcasts, dissecting every syllable. Millions of viewers replayed it frame by frame, studying the tone, the background noise, the tremble in his breath. And the internet collectively asked, "What did she do?" Because the clip didn't reveal what triggered the explosion, only the aftermath. It didn't show the context, the build-up, the emotional destruction behind the words. It only captured the moment a marriage cracked open, and the world got a front-row seat. Within hours, screenshots started appearing. Not random rumors, not anonymous claims, actual messages from people close to the couple, friends, assistants, co-workers confirming that the confrontation had gone on for nearly an hour before the House staffer captured the final, devastating line. And one insider added something that sent shockwaves through the entire controversy. That wasn't the worst thing he said. That was the thing he said before he walked away. Suddenly, the audio wasn't just a leak. It was a doorway into private pain, private betrayal, private collapse that had been building for months. As the audio spread, allies who once stood by Candace began quietly distancing themselves. Some deleted photos with her. Others scrubbed her tag from their bios. A few issued vague statements like, "Praying for everyone involved." Sometimes we forget the cost of public battles. Not everything belongs on the internet. But the most telling reaction came from someone inside Candace's professional circle. Someone who had defended her fiercely for years. They tweeted, "This didn't surprise us. We saw the change long before the public did." That tweet alone sparked hundreds of thousands of comments. And beneath it, another insider commented, "She's not the same person she was 5 years ago. Fame changed her. Pressure changed her. And now it's costing her everything." The meltdown spread beyond commentary into full-blown theorizing. People combed through old interviews where her husband sat beside her. Clips resurfaced, showing him flinching when she snapped at a host. Screenshots reappeared of the time he stopped attending major events. A podcast breakdown pointed out the shift in his body language over the last year. And suddenly the public narrative flipped. Candace wasn't the fierce, unstoppable political warrior anymore. She was the spouse who pushed too hard, too far, too fast, until the person who supported her most reached a breaking point. But the escalation didn't stop there. As the story grew, Candace's critics and even some of her supporters began digging deeper into her home life. Her emotional state, her rising paranoia, her escalating confrontations. And that's when a second, even more explosive leak surfaced. A friend of her husband stepped forward anonymously and shared screenshots of the messages he sent right after the confrontation. And the messages revealed something nobody knew. Her husband didn't just consider leaving, he packed a bag. He left the house. He stayed at a hotel that night. The messages read, "I can't be in that environment right now. I love her, but she's spiraling. She needs help before this gets worse. I'm not sure she even sees what she's doing anymore." Those 4 sentences detonated across social media. Thousands of reaction videos flooded TikTok. Podcasters declared the marriage emotionally fractured. Relationship experts weighed in, saying the language was classic emotional exhaustion. Fans begged him not to give up. Critics said they weren't surprised at all. But none of that compared to the real bombshell that dropped next. Because one message, the one circled in red by the whistleblower, contained the shocking reveal. "She crossed a line I told her would end our marriage. And she did it anyway." That sentence sent communities into complete meltdown. Everyone demanded to know, what line? What had she done? What boundary had she shattered? Why was he saying she did it anyway? Implying she made the choice deliberately. Was it a comment? Was it a feud? Was it a public stunt? Was it something involving their children? Or was it something far darker, something tied to people she recently feuded with publicly? Speculation went wild. But then the friend forwarded one last message from her husband, a message that shifted the entire narrative and set the internet on fire. "She told a lie on air today. Not a political lie, a personal one. One that hurt someone I care about. A personal lie. Not about politics. Not about ideology. Not about public figures. About someone he cares about." And the friend added in their note to the whistleblower. He won't say who, but it wasn't a stranger. Those words sent chills through the entire online world. Immediately, people started theorizing. Did she lie about a family member? Did she misrepresent a private situation? Did she attack someone in his life? Was she using her platform to destroy someone he loved? Or did she reveal a secret that was never hers to tell? The tension exploded. But the situation reached new levels when Candace herself reappeared online, posting a cryptic message that shocked everyone. "People will always betray you, even in your own home." The comments erupted. Did she mean her husband? Did she mean the staffer who leaked the recording? Did she mean the friend who released the messages? Or did she mean something darker, that she really believed she was the victim? Minutes later, her husband posted something too. A rare public message that shattered the last pieces of their privacy. It wasn't betrayal, it was honesty. "I've been silent for too long." The internet froze. Because for the first time, he wasn't protecting her. He was contradicting her. Directly, publicly, emotionally. And then he added, "And I'm ready to tell the truth." Those 8 words became the second worldwide trending phrase of the day. Because now the world knew. Candace's husband wasn't just stepping back. He wasn't just hurt. He wasn't just considering separation. He was preparing to speak. And whatever he was about to reveal would expose the personal lie Candace told, the lie that pushed the marriage past the point of repair. Candace had been in the center of countless controversies before, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared her for the level of destruction that unfolded once her husband's messages leaked. Because this scandal wasn't political. It wasn't ideological. It wasn't about 2 sides debating over talking points. This was personal. This was intimate. This was raw. And it was happening in real time. The internet didn't treat it like drama. They treated it like a public autopsy of a marriage falling apart before their eyes. Every hour, new reactions flooded online. Influencers who once defended her began posting lengthy breakdowns. Marriage therapists uploaded emergency analysis videos. Politicians who usually aligned with her remained silent. Fans who once worshipped her voice now questioned her character. Critics delighted not in cruelty but in shock, because even they didn't expect her life to unravel this fast. But the most painful part wasn't the public turning on Candace. It was watching her lose control of a narrative she once commanded with absolute dominance. For the first time in years, she wasn't leading the conversation. She was drowning in it. But the true emotional fallout didn't happen online. It happened inside the Owens household, where insiders say Candace slipped into a cycle of panic, denial, anger, and desperate attempts to regain stability. Someone close to the family revealed, she tried to call him over and over again. He didn't answer. Candace, who had silenced critics, dismantled opponents, and survived political warfare, couldn't reach the one person she needed most. She paced the house. She cried. She yelled into the void. She blamed the staffer. She blamed the friend who released the messages. She blamed the media. She blamed the internet. But she didn't blame herself. Not yet. Meanwhile, her husband stayed silent, not posting, not responding, not defending, not attacking, just quiet. And that silence was louder than anything Candace said. But while Candace spiraled privately, the public was piecing together the fragments of the lie she allegedly told the one that hurt someone her husband cared deeply about. And slowly, painfully, a theory began to gain traction. People remembered a recent moment in one of her shows, a passing comment she made, something most people ignored at the time, a jab at a woman connected to her husband, a subtle insult, a twisted exaggeration of a private situation that she portrayed as truth. Someone clipped the moment and posted it with the caption, "Was this the line she crossed?" The clip went viral instantly. In the video, Candace brings up this woman never naming her and frames her as manipulative, dishonest, and a danger to families. Her tone was sharp. Her words were pointed. Her audience cheered. But the internet noticed something Candace didn't. She was smirking. That smirk became the symbol of her downfall. People compared it to past clips and realized Candace had become crueler, sharper, less restrained, less compassionate. But the real explosion came when a new insider stepped forward, this time from her husband's side of the family. They revealed the truth behind the mysterious woman Candace attacked on air. She wasn't an enemy. She wasn't a rival. She wasn't a stranger. She was someone her husband deeply respects, someone who supported their marriage, someone who tried to help Candace privately. The insider's voice cracked in the interview. She lied about her to look strong on camera, and he warned her not to. That was the boundary. That was the line. Candace didn't just disrespect someone her husband cared about. She weaponized her platform against them, for applause, for engagement, for drama, and he felt betrayed on a level that shattered him. When the internet realized this, they turned fully and ferociously. One comment thread alone had nearly 200,000 replies dissecting the lie. She dragged an innocent woman for content? No wonder he left. That's emotional abuse. She finally went too far. She used her platform to hurt someone personal to him. The backlash became impossible to contain. Political commentators, some who once called her brilliant, now criticized her recklessness. One said, "She poisoned her own home for a viral moment." Another, "She confused cruelty with strength." Even hosts from networks she was aligned with refused to defend her. Meanwhile, Candace kept posting cryptic messages. Truth wins in the end. Never trust weak people. Some betrayals hurt more than others, and each one made things worse. Her husband said nothing, not a post, not a hint, not a whisper, until one morning, nearly 48 hours after disappearing from the home, he finally broke the silence. He posted a statement. Simple, calm, controlled, and devastating. "I didn't leave because of criticism. I left because my dignity matters." The internet erupted. But the last line of his statement is what sent the entire controversy into overdrive. "She didn't just lie about a person I care about. She lied about a situation she knows the truth about, and I'm ready to tell it." The world stopped. Influencers screamed. Podcasters gasped. The comment sections exploded. Because now the fallout wasn't just about Candace's lie. It was about the truth her husband was preparing to reveal. A truth big enough to break her entire narrative. A truth she thought would stay buried. A truth he now had nothing to lose by exposing. The world held its breath the moment her husband announced he was ready to reveal the truth. Comment sections froze. Live stream chats erupted. Every podcast shifted into emergency mode. Analysts, therapists, political commentators, and longtime followers speculated endlessly. What could Candace Owens, someone known for being unapologetically calculated, possibly lie about that would make her own husband say, "My dignity matters. I'm done protecting her." Theories spread like wildfire, but none of them came close. Because the truth, the real truth, wasn't political, wasn't ideological, wasn't even about a feud. It was about family. It was about someone Candace's husband deeply respected, someone he once considered a pillar of support, someone who stood by them during the hardest moments of their marriage, especially during a private struggle the world never knew about. According to insiders, Candace and her husband had gone through a deeply personal crisis months earlier. A crisis involving a woman who had helped them navigate a painful situation, someone who kept their confidence, someone who protected their privacy, someone who gave them guidance when Candace was at one of her lowest emotional points. But Candace, desperate to sound bold and unshakable during her recent segment, twisted that situation into something ugly, something humiliating, something she knew would make viewers gasp, applaud, and rally behind her. She weaponized the private story. She exaggerated details. She changed the context. She implied wrongdoing. She painted the woman as manipulative. And worst of all, she did it knowing the woman wasn't allowed to defend herself. Her husband begged her not to. He reminded her of everything this woman did for their family. He warned her that crossing this line would cause irreversible damage. But Candace ignored him. She went live. She told the story anyway, and she made it sound like the woman had betrayed them when in reality, she had been loyal through pain. Candace refused to acknowledge publicly, and that was the lie. Not some political twist, not an ideological stance, not a feud fabricated for ratings. It was a lie about someone who had helped them through a heartbreaking private chapter, a chapter insiders now confirm involved a deep marital crisis. One Candace refused to take accountability for. But the twist doesn't end there. Because when Candace's husband began preparing his public statement, he didn't just plan to expose her lie, he planned to reveal why she told it. According to a source from his side of the family, she lied to protect an image that was already crumbling. She lied to shift blame. She lied to make herself look strong, even if it meant destroying someone who saved their marriage once. But the darkest part of the final twist came from a message Candace's husband reportedly sent to a friend just hours before the leak. "She's doing to our marriage what she does to everyone she fights, rewriting reality." He wasn't leaving because of conflict. He wasn't leaving because of pressure. He was leaving because Candace crossed into dangerous territory, the destruction of truth itself. Someone close to him revealed the moment he made his final decision. She told him the lie didn't matter because nobody knew the woman's name. He told her it mattered because he knew. And that was the moment he emotionally checked out. Now the world understands why he walked away, why he packed a bag, why he stayed silent, why he finally broke that silence. But the real cliffhanger, the one that has the entire internet shaking, arrives in the final line of his upcoming full statement, which insiders claim is already drafted. He wrote, "If she can lie about someone who helped us at our lowest, imagine what else she's lying about." This line leaked privately among journalists, sending shockwaves through the media because the implication is massive. Candace's personal credibility, her political credibility, her moral credibility, her public narrative, her marriage, her entire brand may now be under question. And then comes the final twist, the twist nobody saw coming. An insider reveals that Candace has been scrambling behind the scenes to stop him from releasing the full truth. Not because she's afraid of losing fans, but because the truth he plans to reveal contains another private detail she absolutely does not want exposed. A detail so personal, so emotionally explosive that even her critics are saying, if he reveals that, her career won't survive it. The world waits. He has the statement. He has the receipts. He has the emotional clarity she can no longer weaponize. And insiders say he's planning to speak publicly within days. The marriage isn't just crumbling. It's moving toward a final, devastating detonation. And now the entire world stands on the edge of a revelation that could end one of the most powerful personal brands in political media. Not because of a debate, not because of a feud, not because of a headline she manufactured, but because her husband, the one person who always protected her, grounded her, defended her, is preparing to speak the truth she never thought would reach the public. A truth she tried to bury. A truth she rewrote on air. A truth that involves a private moment she never wanted exposed. A truth that could compromise not only her marriage, but her entire image. The internet is already bracing for impact. Creators are setting up live stream countdowns. Commentators are preparing emergency panels. Political insiders are whispering that this will be bigger than the last 3 scandals combined. And her supporters, once fiercely loyal, are divided like never before. Some are begging her husband to stay silent. Others are urging him to speak out and finally tell the world what really happened. And millions of viewers are refreshing their feeds every hour, waiting for the moment he steps forward and releases the statement everyone knows is coming. But before this story explodes into its next phase, before he reveals the personal detail she's been hiding, before the truth detonates and reshapes everything we thought we knew about Candace Owens, it's time for you to weigh in. Do you think he should release the full statement? Should the world hear the truth Candace hid behind her commentary? Do you believe her marriage can survive this, or is this the point of no return? And what do you think the second, even deeper secret is, the one insiders say could end her career permanently? Your comments aren't just reactions, they become part of the investigation, part of the conversation, part of the pressure that determines what happens next. So make sure you like this video. It forces the algorithm to push the story to more people who need to see the truth. Subscribe so you don't miss the moment her husband finally delivers the statement everyone is waiting for. Turn on notifications. Insiders are whispering that the reveal could drop any day now. Share this video because the more people following this unraveling story, the harder it becomes for anyone to hide behind silence. We are standing at the beginning of the biggest chapter yet. The marriage is cracking, the truth is rising, and the next revelation will change everything. Stay alert, stay watching. More is coming.